Interested in learning how to better support students from other countries and cultures? How about bilingual education models? Want to know how to create an environment that supports bilingualism? If so, you've come to the right place. Sit back and relax as we will mention some ways in which you can encourage bilingualism in the classroom. Hello! In this video, we'll discuss bilingualism, its importance in education, and strategies for enhancing bilingual instruction in the classroom. What is bilingualism? How does bilingual education work? Why is it valuable? Can educators encourage bilingualism in the classroom? Well, stick around till the end as we answer all these questions and more, as we delve into the topic of bilingualism in the classroom. Without any further ado, let's get started. Bilingualism is knowing and/or using two or more languages. If we're talking about more than two languages, however, the term multilingualism is used. The majority of people in the world are multilingual. It is monolingualism, the knowing and using of one language, that is actually quite abnormal. While it might seem to be a straightforward concept, the spectrum of bilingualism and multilingualism is actually quite complex. Due to bilinguals and multilinguals are able to use their respective languages for varying functions and purposes, and in a wide variety of contexts. Some may have a better command of their receptive skills, i.e. listening and reading, and others may have a better command of their productive skills, i.e. speaking and writing. In short, balanced bilingualism rarely occurs, and these differences are well documented in academic research. Bilingual education is schooling that takes place in two or more languages. Education professionals develop instructional methods and role models for students to follow to help them acquire and learn language and literacy in both native and second-plus languages. To better explain this idea, here are just a few instances of popular bilingual educational models. Transitional bilingual education. The first approach we have is called transitional bilingual education. It's designed to help kids learn a second language more efficiently. Students first receive teaching in their native languages for a while before starting to receive instruction exclusively in a second language. For instance, education will initially be given in the student's native language, before gradually converting to English for the entirety of the curriculum. Two-way bilingual education. Now moving on to the second approach, which is called two-way bilingual education. This type of bilingual education program is designed to promote the simultaneous acquisition of first and second languages. For instance, in the United States, students who speak English and those who do not both learn how to talk and write in a second language. For this program, there are two extra divisions. Children can ask questions in their native tongue while receiving instructions in a foreign language. Teachers can only answer questions from students in the language they are presently learning. In the second method, students are taught other subjects in a foreign language, while receiving grammar and linguistic support in their native languages. While you may have heard that it is easy for children to learn multiple languages, the reality is more complex. It can be challenging for bilingual and multilingual children to express themselves or communicate using their full linguistic repertoire in a variety of situations and contexts. This can be because people utilize their first language more frequently than their second language, or vice versa. Some bilinguals or multilinguals start to prefer one language over the others. A person who speaks many languages might not ever achieve so-called balanced skills in all their languages due to personal, socio-cultural, and/or socio-political reasons. In particular, schools and educational institutions can be places that stifle the development of bilingual and multilingual identity, language, and literacy. Though outside the scope of this video, stay tuned for future videos on the field of ratio linguistics and the concept of linguistic oppression, and in turn, justice. All that being said, it should be clear how much of a significant role educators play in helping bilingual and multilingual children to feel seen, be validated, and succeed in education. Kimberly Flores, a mentor for teachers working with families that speak several languages, shares her advice for teachers who seek to promote bilingualism in the classroom. Here are some of her key points. Firstly, teachers could start by encouraging students to converse in their native tongues with their classmates. For instance, a teacher can ask students to describe how they pronounce vocabulary words in their native tongues when presenting vocabulary items to the class. By doing this, teachers are showing their kids how much they respect their language, culture, and family. Secondly, Teachers can set up a few group learning activities in which students are grouped according to their home languages, in order to facilitate the development of language skills. This will help students comprehend one another's culture better. However, students shouldn't be paired with peers they feel comfortable around for more challenging group tasks. Thirdly, building the relationship between teachers and parents is essential in improving students' learning abilities. If a school event is approaching, for instance, they ought to be a little more considerate of the families and send out the invitation in the family's native tongues. And lastly, teachers ought to participate in their students' performances. They must be conscious of the obstacles and struggles that their pupils face as they learn and acclimate to foreign cultures and languages. Many students go through trauma when adjusting to a new culture at school. In order to keep children from feeling trauma as a result of their situations, teachers should patiently help and support them. Before we end this discussion, let me briefly describe the concept of translanguaging, which is frequently used in multilingual society. Ofelia Garcia has described it as the development of a speaker's full linguistic repertoire without regard for watchful adherence to the socially and politically defined boundaries of name, and usually national and state, languages. There continue to be more and more studies from researchers and teacher scholars that highlight the many benefits of permitting and encouraging students to translanguage. It is also employed as a teaching method in classrooms to sustain students' language and literacy development. Be sure to check out our videos on translanguaging and how its enactment can be transformational for your bilingual and multilingual students. 1. There are more bi- or multilinguals than monolinguals. 2. To succeed in the rapidly developing various cultural communities, bilingual education is crucial. 3. Transitional bilingual education and two-way bilingual education represent two commonly used models in bilingual ed. 4. According to Kimberly Flores, teachers can support bilingualism by encouraging students to speak in their native tongues, establishing group learning activities, comprehending children by placing themselves in their shoes, encouraging them, and building positive relationships with parents of students. 5. Translanguaging is common practice amongst multilinguals that they may choose to engage in when communicating, depending on purpose, context, and the people with whom they are interacting. That is a wrap on this video. We hope you liked it, and if you did, make sure to press the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure to subscribe to our channel to check out more mini lessons on educational topics. What do you think is the best way to promote bilingualism in class? If you have any questions or comments regarding bilingualism, ratiolinguistics, linguistic oppression, or translanguaging, make sure to write them in the comments section below. You can also tell us the topics that you would like to see videos on in our forum in the video description. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for your service, educators. Until the next time, adios.